Welcome to a special episode, Children of the Wind. It's a time in our lives where we were young. As you can see, Glenn today, who's in the tribe, who you've met, is governor and he looks much younger. Myself, in the video, I look extremely young. It was before I became Minister of Health and Sports. A bit before, yes. Roger, you don't see in there, but Roger is a big part of this. He was co-owner of the windsurf shop in Bonaire that hosted these kids, that helped these kids grow and gave them equipment and facilitated everything for them. And Roger is also the one that called me and said, listen, naturally Elvis Martinez called me and said, listen, come to Bonaire, come work with the kids, come work with the parents, because we got something here and we need these guys prepped. I was volunteering as head of the Olympic Committee in Aruba, not the medical head, on the medical side. Working with a lot of athletes and doing my chiropractic. Also, I had my research done on childhood obesity and longevity. So it was all in this whole realm of physical medicine and everything. They knew me, they knew I did that work, and so they called me to come up and help and assist, and we did. I ended up eventually also going with two other people from my team. One is a Cuban psychologist at Mundo, and the other one is a baseball recruiter, one of the big guys in the Caribbean, Chu Halabi, who went up, and the three of us presented to the parents, we presented to the kids, we worked with the kids. It was an amazing experience to see these very young kids coming out of nowhere, truly out of nowhere, from the population size, the smallest island of the three islands, the Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, and with very little access to anything. So for them, it's a huge jump. And really, we needed to prep them for what was to come and also prep them for everything that's going to come at them. They're going from 0 to 110 in 2 seconds. So anyway, enjoy it. It was a great time in our lives. We all remember this. Glenn we were all windsurfers. We still are. I'm a windsurfer. Glenn, Roger, we all windsurfed. And in this, you'll see Glenn windsurf. And so it's close to our hearts. Hope you enjoy.
I can't remember the date exactly, but it's 40 years ago. The first windsurfing gear that came here was found on the sea. The fishermen found it just floating on the big sea. We didn't know what it was, where it came from. This windsurfing gear is a gift for the island from God.
Sylt, Germany, 2009. This is the final professional windsurfing competition of the year, and the largest. 200,000 fans gather to watch the world's best windsurfers compete under harsh conditions in the North Sea. For over 30 years, this event and the sport at large has been dominated by Americans and Europeans. But in the new millennium, everything changed. Against all odds, a small group of sailors from the Caribbean has risen up against 40 countries to become the best freestyle windsurfers in the world. 3 of them are from a tiny island called Bonaire, and they are family. Tonki Franz, his younger brother Tati Franz, and their cousin, Kiri Tode.
Suddenly there's new blood in, and this was some real new blood that brought a whole new style of sailing and a whole new cast of characters.
They threw the rulebook out the window, and it opened the door to just an entire new repertoire of moves that no one could have thought of beforehand. As a result, that has revolutionized windsurfing.
Racially, you had all these black guys there when windsurfing really didn't have that very much. Just the whole expansion of windsurfing really to be more inclusive to other people was really great to see.
Before the freestyle revolution, there weren't hardly any kids. These guys probably saved windsurfing.
It's kind of waiting for an amazing alignment of the stars. That's never going to happen again. That's what happened here. None of this was planned. This was chaos going to focus.
Winner of the W in freestyle is Tati Franz.
The Bonaire boys claimed first, second, and third place at the 2009 World Cup in Sylt, an unprecedented achievement by any single country. But as the crowd cheers, few realize just how far they've come.
As a kid, I had a dream that I wanted to become like a star. I was trying to break free and get to know what's out there. I made it, and it still give me everything I fight for in the beginning.
To me, the money, the fame is like nothing. To me, it's just like a way of going out to the world and just show that we are here, that we are someone who are from this to this.
In the beginning, we was using windsurf gear to go fishing. If I didn't really like windsurfing, I was a fisherman for sure.
Well, the Bonairean flag, it's divided by 2. The lower part, the dark blue, represents the deep sea around Bonaire. And then on the left upper corner, there's a yellow, and the yellow represents the sun that's always shining in Bonaire. And then you have a band of white, and the band of white represents the purity of Bonaire and also peace. Inside the white band, you have a round, which is a compass. And the compass has 4 pointed, equidistant triangles, and this represents the 4 wind directions from which people came to Bonaire.
In 1634 came the Dutch. They came to Bonaire. And so they conquered the island. They used Bonaire as an island for the salt. We had some 500 slaves on the island.
There's a kind of mixture of 3 cultures. Take a look at myself. What you see here, this is not Europe, this is not Africa. This is my Indian color I have. Take a look at my hair. You see this is real Africa. But from this side, you see my eyes. I have green eyes, that's Europe. So I'm a good combination of the 3 races we have on this island.
A tiny dot on the map, Bonaire is located just 50 miles north of Venezuela as a municipality of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. With only 15,000 residents, and not a single traffic light, Bonaireans must respect the vast nature that surrounds them because they depend on it.
There's not much light on Bonaire for kids. There weren't facilities. They had a lot of challenges, a huge issue with kids not having an out, nothing to do. To be able to produce top athletes that are now at the world level, from nothing, the puzzle is mind-boggling. It's not supposed to happen, let's put it that way.
It's 2011, and the world tour is returning to Bonaire for the first time in 6 years. But for the Island Boys, this event marks so much more than a shot at the world title. It's a chance for them to show their island what they've become, and for their island to show the world what made it possible to create top athletes from so little. The road is not easy. Bonaire is still unsure whether it'll be able to pull off such a large-scale competition. But one thing is sure, the wind is up.
When I heard the PWA is coming to Bonaire, we all was really excited. The island can see really like how we compete and what is the level and what is the stress.
We need this event in Bonaire to have people know Bonaire again. And you see all the guys from Brazil, Vietnam, Russians, everybody was coming to Bonaire really early to train. Competing here it was something really amazing to us. It was like, yes, it's a game, and games you have to agree with losing and winning. You cannot win all the time. There's always a bigger fish in the water, and just let it go. It's free, free your mind.
Hello, Bonaire!
Everybody asks us, where are you from? And we says, Bonaire. They says, where? And we say, wow, our island's name is not Bonaire, but Bonaire. But today, everybody knows where is Bonaire. Thanks to these guys. After 25 years organizing events, I organized so many windsurfing events. To have all the international here in Bonaire competing, it's a dream come true. But it's not easy. It's like building a castle into a desert.
I'm the manager.
All these guys have education. It's not that you come in the jungle and find some people overweight. No, that's not like that. But we can do big things that people with ties cannot do.
It doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, yellow, purple. It doesn't matter. We don't allow anybody coming through that can stop us. Disallowed.
Rincon Boy, a band of young talented musicians. They bring a new kind of music, a contemporary culture blend which is innovative.
The locals, they live and breathe these type of events. Everyone on the island realizes how important it is to pull this off. They're all here to support their heroes, the windsurfing heroes.
Sometimes, it hits me that from fishing lines, I make it through flashy lights, What if I was not a windsurfer? Who would I be now?
Since I born, I was living the same house where my grandpa and grandma is. And that house was Tati, Choco, Tonki, and me. So we was like living together and under one roof.
A minha tata era pescador, e a senhora também, sua tata também era pescador, família pescador. A temporada nós estamos mais ou menos de junho, quieto, porque eu gosto de hari, tonque. Tati que tonque tudo que gosta de hari, pero tati não te gosta papia. Eu gosto de papia, é gaga, que se não gosta gaga, eu tenho lá mais afilhado mais boa pessoa, te gosta.
I am the guy who's more like I'm living alone. I don't like it so much. People around me. When I was a child, my father left my mother, and then when I was like 9 years old, I have moved to my grandparents' house. This is my room. Don was always sleeping here on this side, and I was sleeping like this. So there was like I'm two beds inside here. So imagine how small this space was for me and Donkey. So this poster I got it in 2006 when I became freestyle world champion, and then Starboard just made this poster of me. So I was like really happy to really have this picture from myself.
Here is me in the picture when I was like, I think 1 years old, I think, and I was hiding in this yellow thing. I was sleeping here. It was my bed when I was living at my grandpa and grandpa, and their bed was here. So every time we talk at night about everything, and then we go to sleep.
Tinha tudo bem que não tem muito não. Que me encontro aí com a Coreia, caminho para se Aruba, Miami, tudo caminho com a Ghana, não se pode não. Show e baker, que me pode recordar não, e qual com a assim. So me que trai, aí bom me que trai fazer flat não, de glass, com tudo, fazer glass, então me tá pondo reaki, que me essa que na digital em 2009, 2015, que se que de kiri, se que de tom, que se que de tati, assim me que trai. Pero ya, el modo para traer gente.
Senti-me contente, hopi bom. Eu sou muito bisaya. Mira como é criança, toch não tá saca minha cara, não tá queda na alta. E não tá saca a cara de nos isla. Não para não, para Bonaire.
Se gosto como é que tu vai ser pisca contigo não, mas tu vai pisca, busca coi come não. Então que nem Maria bia na pisca na terra não. Sei na com seu windsurf.
Sometimes it flashed back when I was like just a little kid. Nobody cares. I love fishing all the time, and I always was hanging around on the seaside. This time I decided to walk a little bit further. I saw this guy on the sailing, windsurfing coming in. I didn't know what it was, so I was like, wow, this is perfect for me to go outside because it's not far. I can just paddle out and fish what I really want to catch. But I was scared by then to go up to this really tall guy and tell him, hey, can I borrow your board, you know?
And he says, excuse me, can you teach me? And I look at him, a young boy from the neighborhood, and if people give me opportunity, why I'm not give other people opportunity? So I says yes.
That decision I made that day changed everything. That was one of my big risks as a young kid to ask this guy for his equipment, and it guided me to a totally different way of life.
Despite broken equipment, Tonki sails day after day. His new discovery soon catches the attention of his brothers.
I was like, okay, I want to try it too.
I saw him like sailing with the sail. I was like, what's that? And Donkey told me to hold the sail, and the feeling was so good.
Every day, I tell you the truth, every day, it's like a drug addicted.
I was waking up, telling my parents I'm going to school. Then I just go back to the beach.
Sí, me estaba preocupado, me bisa. Onde vai? De qual que da roupa assim? Depois, me vinha a sair que estava windsurf. Eu estava tas pebbles assim, me sa. Então me digo, então que vai escola na primeiro lugar. Depois eu vai windsurf.
We had a long rope and take it to the one way, and then when the rope came like tight, I was like fall, and then came back with the rope in.
This rope always gets into the way, and I crashed. So I said, you know what? Today I'll cut the rope. Tack! Once I crossed the blue water, I start to feel, my heart beating. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. And then I say, no, go, man. Wow, sail away. It's not something holding you. I gotta just break free.
These real poor countries that have no possibilities for their youth. When one is created like windsurfing, and it's a possibility to, through windsurfing, to break free and get out of this country and go to a better place and get a better life for yourself, that's the pinhole effect. That means that all the focus of this child, when he sees that and he sees it's attainable, will go to this one thing and this one vehicle being windsurfing.
It is day one of the World Cup freestyle event on Bonaire. Competitors from 15 countries are assembled to fight for the world title. They are the best freestyle windsurfers in the world, and a third of them are from Bonaire. The competition will consist of 4 rounds and take place over a 5-day period. On this, the first day, is the single elimination. And as with any knockout competition, competitors go head-to-head until there is a single winner.
In freestyle, we're looking at diversity, technical skills, and also styles. This is the 3 major scores we give from 0 to 10. We've got 2 panels of 3 judges. 3 of them will look at 2 sailors. They're doing like a match. And the other 3 judges will judge another panel of 2 competitors. I would say the ideal hit will be like 6 minutes hit. And we will count the best 4 moves on each tack and have 3 crashes that won't count. Therefore, we are pushing for the level to go higher and higher.
What we've seen really coming into 2011 is that Kiri's gone from being that little bit smaller, a little less powerful, to suddenly being on the same scale as everyone else. And now he has that size and strength. The talent that he's always had is shown through and been amplified to the point that he's just destroying the competition now.
In the early heats, competition is already fierce as pressure builds for the Bonaire fleet. With cheers of support from the beach, locals Tati and Kiri make their way into the semifinals. This is the first crucial heat of the competition. They are up against 2 major international competitors who will prove to be their biggest challenge. Goito Estrela, 4-time world champion from Venezuela, and Belgian Steven van Broekhoven, who was fresh from winning the previous competition in Austria. If one or both of the Bonaireans lose, they will face a daunting uphill battle to win the overall. The semifinals are intense, but to the elation of the home crowd, both Tati and Kiri eliminate their competitors to advance to the final.
I am really used to sail with Tati around, In a way, I was like, as my cousin, but in the competition, you have to do really, you have to do for yourself.
I know Kiri is good. I didn't plan this to go against Kiri, so I was like, damn it.
Tati Franz versus Kiri Toda in the first single elimination here in Bonaire in 2011. This is a local showdown, and this is going to be, this is probably a dream for those guys, both from Bonaire in the final. He's upped his game as well, but so is everyone else, which has just made it a lot harder for him this year.
Basta tempo minabay ko na, minimpari ko na, binunti grave minabay ko na, pero awok yung na, kung seca, pega ko. Spante pa, spante. Ado ori si Kiri. Doon last pa mi Kiri, nalagay spantabo Kiri, bang, Kiri, ori que tira su move na sila Kiri, ko sa tursi, no, sa mga grita ba, 2-3,
30 seconds to go, this men's final. Kiri Toad against Tati Franz. He's going to come flying out on starboard tack, and then we've got Tati Franz on the outside. He's going to be coming in on port tack, so it's going to be really tricky. He really likes that whip, doesn't he? The full head whip to try and get that second spin in. So that pretty much wraps up that first single elimination. We're going to go over to the stage, I imagine, soon, and they haven't announced any of the top 4 places for the women or the men, so I think they're going to do that, get the crowds around the stage.
The winners of the men's finals today. Taking first place, Mr. Kiri Toad.
In my head, I said to myself, I want to finish top. I just want to be there, onto the podium. So when I finished second in single, I was like, okay, yes, so I have it.
The legacy of windsurfing on Bonaire can be traced back to the vision of 3 local men, and none was more important than Elvis Martinez.
We was not the first windsurfer on the island, but we was the first local people who take it seriously as a sport. My father's a fisherman, my grandfather's a fisherman, all my uncles are fishermen, so I grew up in the ocean. My grandmother raised 3 children alone. Life wasn't easy on the island. There was not so much job opportunity. Everybody had to work, so I started at a very young age to work. I went sailing, but when I came back, I see all my sister, my mom, was not so good without me. And that's when I make the decision that I will never leave the island again. And I work in the gas station.
There was not much on Bonaire. We was just living without a door, without window. You have to work hard to get food, to survive with your kids. I was run barefoot like 10 miles, go eat and run back, just windsurfing after work. And I meet Erwin Muller was there. He was the only guy on the island that was windsurfing that time.
Lots of people think you're stupid or crazy, but hey, it's nice to have just the freedom. We just run around anywhere you want to go. We sail together, we fish together. I know how to get the sail up, I know how to go forward. I know how to fall down. They had to figure out the rest themselves.
I wanted to buy an instruction book, a small book, how to pull the sail up and what to do. I read that book, I saw the figures on it, and I said, hey, this is gonna be easy.
We see Elvis was floating away on the board. They cannot get him back.
They come to rescue me.
2 weeks, he was back and he said, oh, I want to organize a regatta.
Both of them left me and says, you not even can windsurf, and now you're gonna organize a competition. I said, I don't care.
That was the first local regatta only from windsurfing that was here.
As Elvis's regattas quickly gain in popularity, he, Erwin, and Platoon decide to invite experienced race director Roy Blatze from Curacao to help organize the competitions.
I was very happy to help them over the hurdles, and I was convinced that soon they will take over, they will do it.
But nobody believed in us.
Those days, the Bonaire was in all classes managed and run by Dutch people, white people.
Here are the big men, you know, businessmen with tie and with the champagne, aristocrat style. You know, I cannot read and write very good. They're not gonna believe in a boy, island boy like I am.
People told you, "Oi, Patung, what you doing? That sport is for rich people." I say, "No, I'm gonna fight for it. I'm gonna keep going."
It was the type of person that I saw in him at a gas station, a guy that believes that what he wants to do, he will do it.
We wanted more boards. Roy was, okay, you guys order the boards, but where are you gonna get the money from? He says, don't worry, Roy, we go fishing.
These guys were able to, with floating nets, catch a huge amount, tons of fish. They make money, and that's what the money was used to buy boards for the sailors. That was Bonaire. It became a very visible example of if you do what you do, you will gain the respect. You'll not get it, you will gain it.
That opened my mind a lot, opened my eyes to fight for something you want.
I knew from the early beginning, Elvis would appear to become the guy on shore who will be able to, if this thing will be pulled together, it will be him, while Patung would be the flag holder on the water.
Remarkably, Patung qualifies for the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, Spain. But the Antilles Sailing Federation refuses to recognize his selection and tries to send a Dutch competitor from Curaçao instead. Feeling betrayed and desperate, Patung and the Bonaire community organize a huge parade to pressure the federation into letting him go. It works, and Patung becomes the first Bonairean to compete in the Olympic Games.
Patung, Constantino, Zaragoza, também, Juegos Olímpicos, Bonaire já para. Como se fosse Bonaire?
Much luck to Patung, because we know he's going to bring back a medal.
Mentally, I was very strong. They cannot only send me a letter, tell me, okay, your result was good, but you're not going. So they have to tell the whole island that I'm not going. When I get old, I don't want to be one of those guys sitting under the tree. I'm gonna do my best, forget the maximum on the sport.
As Patung focuses on his racing career, Elvis's attention shifts to promoting windsurfing amongst the local kids.
I had the background already from teaching. I teach karate for the kids. So I had that already, that feeling for kids. And believe, if you want to have a sport, you have to start with youngsters to let them surprise you that you have a future in the sport.
To accommodate the younger kids, Elvis has to find a new location to avoid dangerous offshore conditions. Finally, he comes across the perfect place. Sorbonne Beach in Loch Bay, a windy but flat area protected by the reef. There they meet a man by the name of Ernst van Vliet.
When I first came to Loch Bay, there was absolutely nothing. It was empty, there were no windsurfers. And the beginning of '89, I started to build the first shack, the storage for the sails. Most of the people, they said that I was crazy doing this in the middle of nowhere. They said, what are you doing here, in the middle of nowhere? And then slowly more kids came, and more kids came, and more kids came, and it was fun.
And there we said, okay, it's about time to make a club. And we found Agua Speed Bonaire Windsurfers Club.
They began to windsurf before they can even swim. And they had the Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse sail.
We were like one big family. Every day after school, wanting to come out. Sitting at school, you look out the window and it's like, see the trees going, oh yes, there's wind, I'm going for sure.
It's around 93, 94. I remember showing up, looking at Loch Bay going, wow. All these little kids just flying across the water. And I was just amazed to see that many children in one place. And I said, I need to film these kids, what can we do? So Elvis came by, picked me up in his van. And I mean, this was like cool van. You could tell this guy was a player. We We start driving through the little back neighborhoods. We'd pull up to this house and there'd be all this excitement. 2 or 3 of them would go run out of the group and jump in the van.
I remember I had to pass like 10 houses, fill my van with kids. If I don't do that, they will walk 10 miles to get to the site where they practice.
Time it never stop, just from waiting in a line. It never had a pause, but nor no rewind. It's always yours, it's just a stay.
On the road, every bushes or everything I see, I was making them like a wave. Elvis, he always was pushing us into speed and slalom, and that was not actually my thing. Because I have a different way of thinking, seeing windsurfing. It's like a puzzle, I can turn it like this and like that. I was searching for something new, and I find it, and I was freestyle, you know.
Freestyle, it's a movement away from traditional sports. It's a movement away from rules, too many rules and regulation, and it's more free expression.
But to understand the arrival of freestyle on Bonaire, one must first understand the role of freestyle in the history of windsurfing as a sport. First there was sailing, then there was surfing. The first person to combine the two sports is a 12-year-old boy in England named Peter Chilvers. In 1964, unaware of Chilvers' invention, an American inventor named Newman Darby attaches a mast with a kite-shaped sail to a floating platform, inventing a universal joint to connect them. 6 years later, an aircraft engineer named Jim Drake and his neighbor, Hoyle Schweitzer, reinvent the crucial universal joint and go a step further by inventing the wishbone boom, which he attaches to a triangular sail, patenting their design as a windsurfer. Hence, a new sport called windsurfing is born, and within a few years it becomes more than a fad. It is a craze. In Europe, it becomes so popular that by the end of the 1970s, 1 in every 3 families owns a windsurfer. Ironically, freestyle becomes one of the most popular variations of windsurfing, and the early practitioners come up with inventive tricks, though mainly in light wind. Soon, however, the sport's emphasis moves to slalom racing and then to waves. Freestyle is considered a novelty and not taken seriously. The pros of that era, such as Robbie Nash, become huge stars in Europe, and over 100,000 spectators swarm to the major regattas. In 1984, it becomes an Olympic sport and continues growing into the early 1990s. Then, in the mid-90s, the sport's popularity starts to decline. Equipment and technique become too specialized and difficult to learn. Without new blood, windsurfing is slowly dying away. Then, 2 major things occur to resuscitate the sport. The first has to do with the equipment and is led by a visionary named Sven Rasmussen, whose company Starboard starts designing wide, user-friendly boards that suddenly make the sport easy to learn and bring the fun back for beginners and intermediates. Second is the emergence of the youth movement driven by modern freestyle windsurfing. It is happening with all the board sports. On skateboards, snowboards, and BMX bikes, kids around the world love tricks, and they're daring to take risks under extreme conditions to invent new ones. For windsurfing, this means that kids no longer need ocean and waves to be radical. They just need wind and a body of water. By the early 2000s, in a world now driven by internet and YouTube, videos of the new extreme freestyle make it to Bonaire and inspire the kids there to try it out for themselves.
When I started watching the movies and watching the magazines and everything like that, so that's when we knew freestyling was in the world.
We start to see magazines from Georgetown. I was like, wow, that's the thing I want to do.
When something went wrong, it's like a new move, you know?
We were falling, and then someone was like watching. Maybe we can do like a Spark or a Diablo in the move. So that's when we all start developing the new moves.
I wanted to be like a show-off, so I was really working hard, getting my almost kill to try really crazy tricks.
We couldn't get those guys anymore on the racing gear. They wanted to go every day do freestyling.
Every small thing was like a big trick back then.
Um dia vai com nem soro bom Elvis. Aí mais me chama com vim aqui passou com ela vai pouco lá vai correr. Me chama aqui tá. Ora mas vim com auto fio auto vai ter lá, mas chegar na lá que nana. Me diz que você que não usou. Eu digo me Kiko papa bom viento. Ora na bomba bula, me diz sem bula, busca mais vai uma boa casa clear, para não te
You got the guys say like, hey, if I don't break stuff, I don't learn. I say, oh yeah, but you cannot break our stuff.
I came up with this style, make a move after another, put them together and try to make it keep going really smooth. It's like BMX, what I do a lot. I just try to combine them and put them together. It's flow style.
There's this move called flaca. It's like jumping in against the wind.
I was like, Donkey, I got a new move. You gotta hear this, man. You go like for the flaca, you duck the sail instead of grabbing right away the other side. You pass the hand over your head first, pull the sail behind your back.
You know, it look kind of more stylish, you know, like that.
Okay, what are we gonna name it? Caña Brava.
The shallow waters and flat conditions of Loch Bay provide the perfect background for the Bonaire boys to excel. As they improve, Elvis sends footage of the kids windsurfing to American race director Tino Dornejas.
Elvis brought me some video of these kids just doing jumps and doing all sorts of amazing things already. And I realized, like, oh my gosh, you got some really serious talent in here, and they needed their place in the sun.
In 2001, Tino invites the Bonaire team to compete and put on a freestyle show at the largest North American championships in Florida. However, this leaves Elvis and his team with the struggle to raise sufficient funds to make the trip possible.
It was very hard to get all the money because it was a lot of money to travel.
We began to see the fundraising that we can do. So when we go in there, nobody must pay any airfare tickets, nobody must pay for the accommodation.
We sold our car to help buy equipment or pay for trip that we have to make.
We do everything what we can do to achieve the goal and to make the dream of each children to come true.
These kids, they had no money. They didn't have this economic, background, safety net. So this was their only way out, their only hope.
They make it, and 20 Bonairean children are soon on their way to Merritt Island, Florida.
The idea of going to Kalima Midwinters, it's like, whoa, this is a way different world out here,
We arrived in Miami, and it was like completely different, like so many cars, and I did really feel like, wow, we are doing something really big and serious.
For me, it was like a vacation, because you're later, you don't think about too much in the future,
When I was in the plane, you think about everything, When I arrived there, who am I gonna go compete against? Probably they're really good, because it's my first time, like, oh, what's gonna happen? It's spinning in that at the moment. I don't speak, but I'm thinking, I'm speaking to myself.
You see people that you've only seen on the videos, and it's like, dude, I know him, man.
Once we hit the water, we saw a massive group, like 100 people at the starting line. We never had that before.
We come in with old boards wrapped in carton and paper. Our stage was full with stickers. People might think we were sponsored, but it was just for patching all the ripping in the sail. We was patching with the stickers.
The most incredible thing is we had wind, we had all these pros in here, and suddenly there's this dark cloud of a bunch of kids that shows up in the midst of this white cloud of everyone else. And these kids are just spinning around and swirling around everywhere, from the tiniest kid of 8 years of age to the oldest at 15, 17 years of age. These kids are ripping around and doing jump. The wind picks up some, and they're grabbing the most unlikely combinations of sails and boards and doing untold things with that. And suddenly, like, everyone is stopping. It was like looking into the water. It was infectious. Everyone was just so pumped up. It just made the event a better event just to have them in here.
On the beach, when our boys is there, we're gonna cheer for them. So when Tati or Tonki or Kiki, one of these guys were making a move, we go, yeah,
there my kids going, woo!
And everybody pay attention to the guys then. And that's how we steal the show then.
One of the defining moments I've seen with watching the Bonaire kids, there's a cold front coming through, it starts raining, there's no wind at the moment, and everybody's scattering towards the shop. There's people hiding under the little covered picnic areas. I myself jumped in somebody's van, but as I was running through the rain, I stopped for a moment, and there's one skinny little kid on the water in a wetsuit that didn't quite fit right, and that was Kiri. And at that moment, I said, that's what it takes to be a world champion.
I was competing for myself, and of course I am representing Bonaire. We did really good in the Bonaire group did really good.
We were all like in at least top 5, from little kids up to the bigger guys.
These kids were gone with trophies in their arms, and they were back to Bonaire to basically stardom. You know, it was incredible.
We knew that there were gonna be like some people waiting on us at the airport.
We were expecting, like, you know, a family, a couple of people.
I was like, oh my God.
We all planned a reception for this team. We even convinced the airlines to change the flights. Instead to go first to Curacao, then Bonaire. They get from Miami, Bonaire, then go to Curacao. That's so they could drop the whole team first here. I never saw so many people at the airport. There was more people even when our queen came to the island.
Everybody was crying and waving for us. Since that day, I was realizing we are like doing good in something.
That day of that reception make a big change in a lot of these kids' life. And there is where they go from nowhere to the main stage.
The Bonaire kids bring home 20 awards from that North American Championship in 2001. More than any country had earned in the history of windsurfing, making them an international story that even aired on CNN News. As word spreads, it catches the attention of 5-time U.S. champion Nevin Sayre.
I happened to go to Bonaire because I had heard a lot about it. And down there, of course, I hung out with Elvis and the boys quite a bit, but saw these young kids and what they were doing with windsurfing, and I just went, whoa. They were gonna take the sports to whole new levels that were not even dreamed of. And I said, you know, hey, Elvis, you should bring some of these kids up to the King of the Cape, because there was a new competition that was being created on Cape Cod. There was prize money and it was freestyle, which is what these kids were all about. And I said, okay, Elvis, if you can get to Boston, once you're in Boston, I'll take complete care of you guys.
But for me, it was tough to pick 1 or 2 kids.
3 days before he lets me know, Nevin, 13 kids are coming. I'm like, great.
He almost got a heart attack.
All these kids came and it was just a wild scene. They won't fit in my truck. We have to rent a whole nother van. The kids are sleeping all over the place in sleeping bags. We happen to have a trampoline. And I'm seeing these kids just jump on this trampoline, doing these flips and stuff like they're gymnasts. Kiri, when he came to our house, spoke very, very little English. And he goes, Nevin, windy. At that time, I was 11 years old. Yeah, my English was not so good back then, but yeah, it was really fun. Nevin was always there for us, like we are like a king when we was staying in the house. You could see this whole new kind of culture coming to windsurfing that was freestyle. When Tonky showed up with red hair and piercings, you know, that was a little bit new, but as soon as you know him, he's just all about the flair and having fun, and it just fits perfectly. I mean, he is a burning flame, so red hair, of course.
Bleach my hair red or blue, any color. I wanted to be the man of the show, you know. If I want to do something, I do it 100%. So I want to be the one when I come to the beach and say, hey, I saw Tonky try this, how did you do that? The Tonky wants to have people, you know, like around him all the time. He gets there's some fire going, but I don't like that.
He likes it, I don't like it.
The smile of Tonki and Tati is just so infectious. You take their enthusiasm and then them coming to the event for the first time. The whole crowd on the beach fell in love with these guys. And they're thinking, okay, well, they're going to be in the amateur competition, of course. I'm going, no, you guys, you're in the pros.
But I'm not ready for that yet, you know. I say, yeah, you're good, so I win. And in the end, we were giving the pros a lot of hard times.
They were not only right there in the class with the top pros, but exceeding them. They basically stole the show. Everyone's looking, whoa, these Bonaire's kids are pretty good. Whoa, they're really good. And there they are, awarded the big checks. $1,000, that was big money for these teenagers from Bonaire. And so they're coming home fully rock stars. And really this launched them into their pro career.
The success of Cape Cod sets the boys off on their first professional tour across Europe.
We didn't know what to expect. We told the parents, we're gonna take the kids. We don't know how we're gonna do, but we're gonna try to push these kids in the first world tour.
Barcelona, Costa Brava, France, to Italy, to the Canary Islands.
Remarkably, at their first competition on tour in Barcelona, Spain, Tati and Tonki win first and second place, shocking the European community.
After that, everybody got the message.
When I got contract, blah, wow. I never see these papers in front of me. I'm like, what the is this? You know, like, couldn't me buy cars, buy everything, buy clothes. You know, as when you have nothing as a kid, you go to your bank account, you see it, and it's like, brum, some cash in there, you go crazy. You know, it's like kids suck on the island. You want to get everything you never had. Then I said, Grandma, I can take care of myself now.
Soon the Bonaire boys become household names as they rise to international stardom. But with success comes jealousy from some corners of the broad windsurfing community. They simply don't know what to make of the newcomers.
Everyone on the beach always loved them. And, you know, that's tough for some other pros who are working really hard and trying to get to the top. They were a little bit jealous of those guys, and so maybe they didn't make it as smooth as they should to welcome them into the pro ranks.
Tonki didn't understand the language too good, and he would come home and he'd be like, bro, the guys were saying this and that. What does it mean? I'm like, Tonki, these guys are they're just giving you shit. And then he asked me, but what does it mean? They're just making you look stupid in front of their friends, which is not needed, it's not cool, you know?
I couldn't speak English really well. That's why it's good to have these friends like Ro. He was there with me too all this time, you know, next to me, my right hand.
Just a couple of days ago, he's like, yo, Ro, now when I see some other guys trying to give me stuff like that, I know exactly what to say, and I know who I'm thankful to, you know? I was like, cool, Tonki. It's nice to have somebody stand up for you, but if you can stand up for yourself, you'll be more proud, you know?
There are many talented athletes who never make it to the top, even though they have the physical attributes, but these guys had more. They had a passion for it that you could not capture.
Day 2, the double elimination. Today's sailors will compete starting from the point they were knocked out in the single elimination. It is the second chance for each competitor to elevate their position and prove who's best. The biggest surprise of the day is Choco Franz, the younger brother of Tonki and Tati. Remarkably, Choco hasn't competed or trained in 2 years, so as he wins heat after heat to catapult to 7th place, his fellow competitors are astonished.
I focus on studying, that's why I lost my sponsor. And so it's been like 1.5 years without windsurfing, training, do nothing on the water, you know? And then 3 weeks before the event, I was like, I can do this. This will be my chance back to get some sponsor and go back on top in windsurfing.
Chuck asked me how to do a culo. I tell him do this, do that. He goes out and come in and just boom, do the moves. I was like, I'm not telling you nothing anymore.
I think there's two things that are very noticeable with the guys who've done well from Bonaire. Not perhaps just that they have a talent and they have affinity for the ocean, but I think for most of them, they got into this very young. And perhaps when other kids were off kicking footballs around and doing other things, they were playing around in the water. They were getting used to being on the water, getting a feel for the water, and very early into windsurfing as well, meaning that to them it wasn't something they necessarily learned. It was just something that they'd always done in the same way as walking or riding a bike or anything like that is for the rest of us. So when it comes to then competing in an environment where it's all about control, it's all about feeling your equipment, they just have that edge over people who've had to learn it and had to train it and have to think their way through moves instead of just doing them.
As in day one, the final heats come down to the 4 top-ranked sailors in the world. And again, the local boys triumph as the double elimination culminates in another Tati-Curie final in which a spectacular display of freestyle wows the fans and judges.
In first place, Visser today.
As the sun sets, the competition is now at the halfway mark. The current standings are Curie Tode and Tati Franz in first and second place, with Steven van Broekhoven and Gohito Estredo in third and fourth place. However, the margin between winning and losing among the top competitors is so narrow, no one is safe in their position.
The idea for our first professional windsurfing competition on Bonaire in 2002 came with a lady from Boston called Ann Fallon. She met the team of Bonaire in Florida. When she saw, the enthusiasm here in Bonaire, she asked us, well, about we do a King of Caribbean here in Bonaire. This is a dream come true, friend. Right, because 2 seconds, Bonaire is on the map.
Tonki kept advancing. Right at the very last 5 seconds before the very end of the last heat, he pulled that move that gave him the victory. I remember it was an incredible, one of those great moments in history that happened right there as we were watching it.
When Tonki won this event here in Bonaire 2002, that's when this whole thing just blew up.
These guys were just on covers of magazines and they just exploded. It was really fun to see how that went.
Along with the Bonaire boys' emergence onto the windsurfing scene came an explosion of new freestyle maneuvers.
Spark, Falcon, Krabi, Punheta, E-Slider, Shaka, Flaca, Culo, Shaka Diablo, Flaca Diablo, Sport Diablo,
Burner, Pipa,
Kono,
Goiter,
Loop,
Double Loop,
Back Loop,
Push Loop, Tease Roll,
Willy Skipper,
Punch,
Kabikuchi, Full Catch,
Skopu,
Gecko, Chacho,
Air Chacho,
Switch Chacho, Funnel, Body Drag, Duck Jive, Monkey Jive. I can't invent anymore. Yeah. Barracuda is a sick one.
The freestyle skills of the Bonaire boys reached such a high level that the judges are forced to change the rules of competition.
The competition format was changed 2 to 3 years ago. And in many ways, it was a result of Curie's windsurfing that we were forced to change it.
But the judges just couldn't cope with it, so it got to a point where it was just too much to judge. Guys like Curie, who can do 30 moves plus in a 6-minute duration heat. So we changed the format, slowed it down a bit in the sense that they performed less moves, but it gave them more time, and they would do like higher air moves or better quality moves.
The judges weren't really happy what we were doing with spinning moves, blah, 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 because we have flat water here and we use small fins, so we spin all the time. And they told us, hey, okay, we want to see, they don't like the way we sail, the spinning and stuff like that, so they say they want to see more air. So we say, okay, you want air, we bring air. So now we start to bring everything what these guys were doing. Let's say before we were looking at magazines to other guys and see what they do. They do everything spin, but we make them now double and air.
I think particularly in Bonaire, perhaps because they were a little more isolated from the rest of the windsurfing world initially, that even in a way evolved in a slightly different direction to other locations, which of course meant that when they did then integrate that back with the mainstream of windsurfing, it created that blossoming effect where everything just spread from it and increased in diversity even further.
When you see them sailing, it is all about style. Their style is very different to everybody else's.
You see Tonki especially is always smiling, and it never looks like it's even a trouble or he has any care in life. He's just smiling, and it doesn't matter if he loses a heat or if he wins a heat, he's still happy.
Tati is always super clinical in everything that he does. Very powerful, very fast.
He can actually perform every trick almost as though he's planned out the exact position on the water where it's going to take place. Everything is to the minutest detail perfect.
You know, Kiri is now starting to take on a little bit of both, I think. In the beginning, when he was a bit smaller, spent a lot of time sort of spinning around and sliding around. You know, this kid, when he gets older and more powerful, he's going to be doing all that in the air, and it kind of has happened.
Well, I think Tati, Tonki, and Kiri have rewritten what modern windsurfing freestyle is. It was this, and they came along and turned it into that. I mean, if you look now at the freestyle ranking list, it's a whole new part of the world and a whole new group of guys that are dominating it.
Day 3 arrives with challenging conditions for the second single elimination. As temperatures rise, the wind lightens and competitors struggle to stay upwind and gain enough speed for their moves. Conditions deteriorate and are at their worst for the semifinals, where Tati and Kiri meet their rivals Steven and Gorito once again.
There was quite a big wind shift in the course area, which meant the guys on the inside actually didn't have really any choice than to sail outside the area. So a lot of the moves were outside the area and then didn't get scored. So it actually wasn't fair.
Suddenly you hear, "Pwah, pwah, pwah." That means they were canceling the heat. I was like, this is not good. Judging thought that me and Steve were sailing outside the marks, but this is bullshit actually to me.
I guess it's hard for them, after that sort of thing happens, to keep their positive frame of mind and to go and sail another strong heat. But, they're both in the same position, and for me, that's fair.
To me, doing resailing, I just hated resailing. So I just lost it all.
It is a fully loaded heat, and now that they've adjusted the course area a little bit, and with this slight increase in wind, hopefully we'll see a lot of big moves being thrown down.
Yeah, he's pumping.
He's got to try and step it up.
He's maybe just showing.
Tati wants the burner.
Oh, just caught the water with his ankle.
Oh no.
Oh, he's got wet.
He got that funny gust down that corner. I think he shook his head then, he knew he didn't have enough speed.
One move, I just blew it, and I just lost this whole mind thing, everything, so.
Tati's just tacked, he wants to get another big move in on port, maybe he's missing one.
So Kiri looking good in this heat, as usual. Tati really needs to step it up.
Tati isn't going to get a move in.
Tati loses the heat, while Kiri advances to meet Steven van Broekhoven in the final.
There's the start.
I would actually say Steven's playing him better than Kiri at the moment.
On the right-hand side.
And Steven knows he needs to step it up. He's going to get down Kiri in his home spot here in Bonaire.
Super stylish.
That was really nice. Super clean. That's what they want to see. Steven on the inside.
There's a barracuda.
He lets totally go of the rig. Meanwhile, getting totally let go of the board. Yeah, that's a shame he couldn't get that barracuda. So on switch, you're probably going to see that double move, maybe.
Double jump and switch chat tune.
Little jump.
Yeah, nice.
Now that's
that
more
was
like
much fun.
Second rotation. Kiri on the outside. Big bomb was that? I think that's what Steven needs.
Edge of your seat action here.
That was, it was a reckon there, boys. I mean, For my money, I'd have to go with
Kiri.
With Kiri, I'd have to say. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see.
For the single elimination. First place goes to Stephen van Broekhoven. Congratulations, Stephen. So full code. Got back to second place.
When Stephen won, I was really surprised and I was really angry. And the night I couldn't even sleep.
We knew Kiri won this heat, but judging from another angle, somebody else thought that the other guy won. But competition, it is like this, so we gotta deal with it.
It was a really close heat. It was a tough call. Kiri had a lot more moves, but we were only counting 3 on each stack. And of the moves that we were counting, Stephen had higher difficulty, and that's why Stephen managed to win this.
With these results, everything has changed. Now both Stephen and Tati have a realistic chance of beating Kiri as the overall winner. It will all come down to the final double elimination.
I say, if the win comes, I really want to go in the final and to sail against Stephen once again.
Competing on their home ground is a luxury the Bonaire boys have rarely had, as the professional tour often leads them away from their island for 6 to 7 months.
We were always like 4 months away without telling no one where we are. Like calling my parents, we didn't call them for like 4 months. So they were like kind of scary for us, like I'm scared. Why did you don't just call and everything? But we say we don't know how to tell a number, which code to dial to call back to Bonaire.
Sì, mi sta preoccupando, questo me non sta attendendo nada, non è sta bimisa nada. Tu mi pensa, con anta, ora na llega, mi sta sentimi contento, questo me mira nan toch, nan ta bom.
Zeitlich zu bewahrheiten, was André Paskowski gesagt hat, dass es hier ein Vorteil ist.
When we're out in the water, it's really cold. It's really difficult for me as a Bonairean guy. We get out there and your hands starts freezing and your foot, you doesn't feel them. Oh, it's my first time in a long wetsuit and I don't like it a lot. So I think I stay in Bonaire and just compete here when I have to. I believe when you become famous, there is no way you can avoid cameras, people, fans, and everything like that. You can never avoid them. For the last 10 years, I've been traveling so much. People come to me, and sometimes you're in your own world. You want to be left alone, but then they just come to you and you autograph, blah blah blah, and you're like, please stop, But it's the way you are. People keep telling you, keep coming back to you. So you have to actually give back to the people, because they are the ones who's gonna buy the boards, buy the sails, or whatever you're doing. Sometimes I get very angry. I cannot handle all the pressure. Sometimes I just walk away. I go to the room, just take a shower, just sleep, and let everything go, and then try to be really relaxed after that.
A lot of the families here are extremely dysfunctional. Whereas on the surface, it looks nice. On the surface, you might even say, oh my God, these 3 kids, they're so lucky. Well, they're not.
My mother had one boyfriend, and this guy was doing drugs. I mean, he was selling drugs. So he put me doing this as well, like selling drugs for him. And I remember one night I was sleeping, and I heard this banging on the door. and I go back, and I go to the door, open it. Some guys were like with the guns, you know. So, fuck. They start throwing all the bats on the floor, and they have to took my mother, the boyfriend, to jail. I was too small to know this. And then I realized that they were looking for the drugs. Me and Tong were getting whipped with brooms and with the belts, with the shoes. So back then I said, okay, I'm gonna stop this whole thing. I don't want to be involved in this drug thing anymore. When I found windsurfing, I fell in love with it. And it gave me, and it gave my life, my mind, peace. And here I am. Yes, I don't know what to say because I'm really happy. That's why to do our best to really push our limit. And I guess it just paid off. So I'm really happy about it. Thank you. Well, this is one of the places I always come. Everything I planned it here. You know, like I started everything and I traveled many places and there was no place like what I have here. Yeah, you can see still that it's green, so that people didn't build a lot, but as I've been coming here many years, I see the changes. Huh? It's getting more colory instead of green only. But it's what the world is bringing, but still far to what I see now. I love to see it like this. I hope it stays like this. But in the future, they will be all gone, so I'm happy I took you guys here.
This is about them creating an opportunity. This is about them creating the image of luck. There is nothing lucky about these kids. We have a drug problem here that is growing among the youth. And it's all because there's very little direction for the youth. And so this little point of light that they brought back became a big light for the kids. They were the beacon of light.
When I saw Tadi and Kiri and those guys, I was like, oh, I should try that once. When I get up, maybe my grandma is still asleep. I was like, Mamayo, lantariba.
Windsurf in the morning, windsurfing lunchtime. Although we don't have gas to go to Sorobom, I said, I will do a little job and get the money for the gas.
I was 2 when I started windsurfing. They put me on the board, see if I can do it. So then I like it, keep doing it for life.
When I'm windsurfing, I like singing, but when I'm singing, I'm like dancing at the same time, you know what I mean?
If I don't have windsurfing, I wouldn't go anywhere.
The truth is, if you don't promote it by the kids, the sport will get gray just like me. My gray hair, and after getting gray, he will die. I realized there was no official world championship for kids in freestyle. And I come with the idea why we don't organize a world championship and target kids.
In 2005, Elvis travels to Thailand to present his idea of having a world championship for kids in front of 70 countries represented at the annual distributors meeting. But his idea faces skepticism.
The first reaction you get, oh, you know, the kid stuff don't sell, there's not enough kids out there is no market there. And I said, no, I don't think so. I think if you give the opportunity, they're gonna show you wrong. And it just took off like that. We got a lot of media coverage and everybody loved the idea. And we started first in Germany first, and then we went to Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Estonia, Norway. And all in this country was a big success.
All these kids, they see the possibility, they see that they too can do it, and then you get a whole other movement happening. And that movement, if stimulated well and if moved well by the government also, can really create a whole new future for a whole new generation.
I'm trying to figure out why Bonaire is producing so many world champions actually. I think they put all their time and energy into windsurfing. It's also a really big group so they can motivate each other. It's the perfect combination.
Look at the venue. Shallow water, warm water. You fall off, you stand right back up on the board. It's ideal, but on top of that, and maybe more importantly, you have all the other kids showing off, doing their thing right around you. So that just raises the bar, raises the bar, raises the bar.
When I saw Tonki, Tati, and Kiri, I realized that I like windsurfing much more than anything in the world. If I wouldn't have been windsurfing, I would probably be a lot on the street. How I get to the beach, I mostly hitchhike to Sarabon. It's not always easy to get a ride there, but you get there eventually.
From the first day, he fell in love with the sport. It became his life, it became his passion, and he was gone with the wind, as I always tell.
It's almost magic what Kiri does. I go to Kiri, give me a tip to do it. One day I will land it and let's party again.
We're all families for each other because, yeah, that's a windsurf life.
When I see people like Chiapi, Amado, or Ramyup, they have the will to do good.
My first sail, I got it by Tonki. It was my birthday. I was like so happy I couldn't like put in sail in house and then took it out again.
I'm trying to help actually the local kids. I want someone I can still talk to and guide them into the good ways. I say I could also be someone selling drugs in the street, for example, sorry to say that. But for example, you know, it's what all my friends that I went to school with are doing, you know. I don't want to be the parents, I just wanted to help and to give him a good life like I had, you know. I told him it's not only in Bonaire here, it's not the end, man.
Some days I want to be like Tati and Kiri and Tonki, like that good.
The kids in Bonaire don't know the difference between black and white. They don't know the difference between governor's son and fisherman's son. They're brothers.
If you're small or if you're like Kiri and Tonki and Tatu, you talk with each other, you share experience. They call me Aunt Nancy. We're not related, we don't family, but you're someone else's aunt, or my mother is everybody's grandma on the beach.
They do the sport together. You will see them get on the water, challenge one another, but also support one another. And when you see this bonding, this brotherhood, it really sets an example for us in government as how you can meet the challenges of life like they meet the challenges of their sport.
Windsurfing in the past, you could have won a lot of money. At the moment, everybody is like going down, like the money is going down. So if you are smart, you are supposed to work to earn more money for the future. Always I've been working since 2001. I've been working. I've been working and surfing.
They're not making huge prize money, and the sponsorship just isn't nearly what it once was. So it's tough. So at the same time, they're at the top of their game. The competition's not getting any easier, and yet the financial rewards aren't there.
Does Bonaire itself as a community realize this? No. It's a treasure that they have, and hopefully the outside world will let them see that. If you count what Bonaire board sailors do for Bonaire in terms of exposure, to me it is incredible.
Without a doubt, the Bonaire kids are completely reinventing freestyle. It's now gotten to the point where you make real kids windsurfing equipment. It's basically scaled down, full-on, high-performance adult gear, but just compact. Every major manufacturer now has a full line of kids stuff, which is great.
It's hard to explain that we have our own guys like Tati, Kiri, develop boards. I don't think that a lot of people realize what that means.
The tourists are coming for the windsurfing. The boys are raising Bonaire as high as they can, and it gave me just goosebumps to see how good it is.
On day 4, action is suspended as the wind lulls, but it is back up in full force on day 5, the final round of competition. With 12 competitors left, 6 are from Bonaire. And it is local veteran Tonki Franz who makes the biggest move. He knocks off one top sailor after another, including Goito Strelo, to move into the quarterfinals against his brother Tati.
I had this feeling sometimes that I have this little red devil running behind me while I'm competing, and it's something stupid because I put it in my mind myself while it's not behind me.
Se dá fogo duro, tem 4. 3 saja aqui, antes qual vai 3 lá, já que tu 3 também nieto. Já, que o que me acha? Me tem que dar para tudo.
Yeah, it makes my heart beat. I got the butterflies.
The two brothers against each other, we've seen the duel time and time again. It looks a bit subdued in this heat, Tonki. The last couple of heats we've seen him just come out of the blocks fighting, but this one, not so much.
Tonki came a long way, like do heats after heats after heats. Probably when he got to my heat, he was just tired probably.
Tati prevails, putting him up against his cousin Kiri in the semifinal. The pressure on the local boys is enormous. The winner will advance to meet Steven van Broekhoven for the final heat of the competition.
This is going to be a big heat. Kiri, I think this is probably the first heat he's going to feel that real pressure. It's interesting to see who starts where, but they're both starting on opposite tack. Because we've got Tati coming in. Heading straight at each other. We're off on this big heat of the day. They're almost going straight towards each other. What we got, Kiri. Oh, nice. Slacker into a proper bounce.
Oh, what I did into punch.
Oh, he wanted to. That's how hard that Flacker into punch is. On the way in. I can feel the tension up in the judges' tower. There's a lot resting on this. I mean, a lot.
In first place, Mr. Kiri Tony.
With this victory, Kiri now has the second chance he so badly wanted to redeem his earlier loss against Steven van Broekhoven.
I just came from my office. My heart is pumping. I'm awaiting the final rounds. What kind of excitement more can we have as Bonaire, you know? This is great.
Excited, with a lot of emotions.
The sailors return to the water one last time, and in a breathtaking display of freestyle, make their case for the victory.
Museo di Bonaire utang. No lang na pasaria bu, bang.
Everyone's going crazy.
This is a big heat. This is a big heat. And that's it, end of red flag. The two guys are walking up to the judges' tower together, did have their arms around each other.
The level's super high, amazing heat there. And the result for the double elimination, the second one in Bonaire here on the last day, goes to Kerry Toad. Kerry! And this, of course, means, Kiri, congratulations, you've won the event. Overall champion in Bonaire 2011.
Done here, man. Thanks for... Don't blink it!
Ora começa a pessoa e vai ser também Deus bendiga graças Senhor.
I'm so happy. I was crying, everything together. Yes, I'm really happy. Really, really happy.
I am extremely proud as a Bonairean to see also that our kids, our youth, has performed this well in this event that we have taken home. And well, I hope that we will have many, many more of these events and that Bonaire will keep to be a positive, but also a definitive, strong force in the windsurfing community worldwide.
The winner of the PW Bonaire 2011 World Cup, Mr.
Vedi ko dinasig sa kiko tingani tra un ko bakili. Mite mara estuli ribe plank. Anto uno pole kiri aje. Mani muria eta no me se cargueto.
I was coming like I was the king, you know. For sure, it feels really, really good.
Everyone on the beach was cheering for them. That was cool. Me too.
Even I was on stage, I was not feeling like I won, you know. And then at night, like something hit me, like, wow, you did it, man. I was like really, I was almost crying, like, fuck, I just did it.
Masa que a mãe que tem su dia que tem 16 anos aí, a mãe diz com meu papa, dia começa 18 anos para 20 anos mais para campeão do mundo. Sonha dali, é sonha, ela tem coisa, ela põe mete assim lá, cana bem coisa, ela vai pé.
I still remember when Tonki won the first time. It was really amazing. We all was like cheering for Tonki. I was like really like, back then was Tonki and now it's me. What if like a couple more years the other guy from Bonaire like this, so it's keep going and going.
We have told people here that one of us will win. And it happened. So it's just nice. It's just perfect.
The emotion was so high as I saw these kids grow up, starting, to windsurfing and really get the passion for it. I couldn't hold my tears, so I just hide and, let it go, and was a really, really great memory.
I have become a father 2 months ago. Having a kid changed my life. I've been more straight about my life. I want to win events, not because from the money, just because I want my daughter to see what his father is doing and what he is for the world.
If I have to say one thing, maybe I don't want it to sound too bad, but if I die tomorrow or right now, I'll be happy. I have completed my dream that I wanted to as a teenager. My coming for the future is I'm thinking of settle down a little bit, having a house, and it's a nice experience in life. Huh? Maybe I live only 40 years, and that 40 years I'll say, until my 28, it was good fun.
Ora mita pasa na cultimara, mita mira nang pintar, tabisa esa que tati, esa que tonki, esa que choco, anta pintar grande, tabisa mira me mucho na caminho.
Mané conosce a Sienang, e respeito para tudo. Mira outro, porque desde já, ante botar me vira me coco na vai dentro de chão. Vai pôr metabo delante, vamos buscar muito coetene.
In the whole world at this moment, where you have polarization, you have, for instance, different ideologies, and people fighting and becoming very hard towards one another without showing empathy. Well, just go to Lac Bay, Sorobong, go and look at these kids who indeed have this sense of competition right there, but who also strengthen one another through sharing. And this is a good example for us all.
Sport has the power to change the world. You empower children, give them a reason to live and to break down their borders. You give them a sense of purpose.
Sometimes I want to give up, but I say who cares? I'm still running this thing.
Let me keep on surfing in the sun is so nice. I wanna do it, keep on proving, only we can ride it. The waves feel no pain, leave my worries behind. I wanna do it, keep on doing it the rest of my life. A small island, but oh so free. The right hand one of the ABC. Windsurf paradise, all four sides surrounded by the Caribbean Sea. And you'll see my brothers and me appearing on TV in a year or maybe 3, depending on my degree and my skill. The power of my will to succeed. They call me legendary. With my sail and the board that I lead through. Waves that are a few feet taller than me. Don't wanna fall cause the waves will be falling on me. Full power on the way to the top for me. I do a flat eye and all the girls drop for me. Back in the days it was hard. I felt like I got no opportunity. The streets left me scarred. But the beach and my bros gave me unity. I got bees and a sea of Bonaire's in my heart. Fool, P-O-W-E-R. Never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Fool, P-O-W-E-R. Never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Surfing in the sun is so nice. I wanna do it, keep on proving, only we can ride it. The waves feel no pain, leave my worries behind. I wanna do it, keep on doing it the rest of my life. I was only 5 years old when I did my first mile. Right then I knew that, wow, this is my lifestyle. Contracts, freestyle contest, oh yes. Smiling on TV when I was real best. Can't stop me, I'm real fast. Guess what? Also on the cover of a couple of Surf Max. Stop that, bet your tricks are low fat. Bonaire is #1 and everybody knows that. On surfing in the sun is so nice. I wanna do it, keep on proving, only we can ride it. The waves feel no pain, leave my worries behind. I wanna do it, keep on doing it the rest of my life. Surfing in the sun is so nice. I wanna do it, keep on proving, only we can ride it. The waves feel no pain, leave my worries behind. I wanna do it, keep on doing it the rest of my life. Fool, B-O-W-E-R, never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Fool, B-O-W-E-R, never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Fool, B-O-W-E-R, never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Fool, B-O-W-E-R, never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Urdia may taya ng taba sila riba lamang. Considera amigi windsurf, brother of rumang. Amigo ng akin ng nota kwenti asinada. Windsurf, di mi islas di mami que saca cara. Con mi deportes di mami que gana placa. La cabo atrás saya awa, saluta la bacara. 5 bosama pasabo di 2 viaja. Boneriano mitad, bien top ay a banda. Lagando otro paísta, sigue meta falla. Norte, sur, oast to west, no está dominando. Surfing in the sun is so nice. I wanna do it, keep on proving, only we can ride it. The waves feel no pain, leave my worries behind. I wanna do it, keep on doing it the rest of my life. Fool, B-O-W-E-R, never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Fool, B-O-W-E-R, never heard of us, now we show you who we are. Fool. This one's for all the surfers who've got dreams. A strong will, selects, and self-esteem. Follow the sea, work as a team, and keep dreaming. Even though sometimes it seems hard to believe, but keep trying, bless giant, stay flying. Cause in the end to be a winner and they grind. First place on stage should be the only thing you care about. So do what your best at, surf and stay in the area. To be a part of the undefeated champions, windsurfing Bonaireans.